One of their big plans is to have riots in Cleveland during the Republican National Convention, and then the next week riots in Philly. And they want these riots to get so big and bad that they have to declare martial law. Well, I really don't think Cleveland's going to be the big booming surprise. I think it's going to be our surprise, our busting surprise on them. This is my backyard. I grew up outside of Cleveland, and I think all these people who are busing in and driving in are going to be a little disappointed. You know what's the word? Angering me about this whole Republican National Convention is they announced it back in 2012 that in 2016 the RNC would be in Cleveland. And immediately, like right after they announced it, the city of Cleveland was using their construction unions to start building underground bases. And they're not really bases. You know what they are? They're underground hotels. They went 9th Street is one of the major streets through Cleveland. It's where the parking garages are. It's where the banks are. It's where the mall is. If it's still down there. I don't even know if it's still down there. But that's where the banks are and the parking garages. And then you can walk down, I think it's Lakeside. I don't remember it, but it's the street that goes down, and then there's the baseball stadium, and it used to be called Gund Arena. I don't even know what it's called now. Staples Center. I don't know. I think that's L.A. I don't know, but it's the basketball arena. It's right next to the baseball stadium. And then about 50 feet up the road is where all the banks are. Well, they started using the unions to make access points through the lobbies of these banks on 9th Street. So they could act like they're going into the banks, but there's these secret entrances where they take these elevators down to the hotels underneath. Because it's basically what they are, because what they dug out and built was hallways of bedrooms. Basically underground hotels. And they have these areas underground to mimic my labs where they can traffic children in, where they can kill and rape and do their rituals to Satan while out of public view under these banks in Cleveland. And that just angered me. And this was back in 2012. So you can imagine how much they've progressed over the years in getting these facilities ready for all this child trafficking and satanic rituals they're planning to do next week in Cleveland for the RNC. You know, folks, if you see buses, children learning vans, library vans, windowless vans, take pictures. Follow them. See who's coming out of the vans when they park. Take pictures of the license plates, the drivers. Let's put them on notice. We're watching. We know what you're doing. Because they're going to be busing children in to these underground hotels they have so that people like Donald Trump and all of them can go show Lucifer how loyal they are. And they're going to rape and kill babies. And they're going to do the same thing next week at the DNC. It just disgusts me. It angers me. When I was in New York down at Wall Street, there was a van, children's ABC learning van, and it was backed up to a back entrance of a bank. They had transported children into that bank in the basement where they rape and murder children during the day on Wall Street. These Satanists don't meet 6 times a year on full moon, high moons, whatever, blah, blah. They meet every day. They do sacrifices to Satan every day around this country. And they don't go to haunted houses and forests and blah. They go to banks. They go to churches. Some of the biggest groups in this country, in Chicago and New York City, meet in the basement of Catholic cathedrals. There's a huge one on the west side of Central Park in New York. And then there's another one, I think it's over by the UN. It's over by Empire State Building there. St. Patrick's Cathedral, I think it's called. It's right down from Rockefeller Center. It's not too far from there. I was there probably, it was late at night. And there was all these black SUVs and police cars parked across the street of it. And the whole church was dark, so it doesn't look like there's anything going on there. It looks like it's locked down for the night. But then across the street, you have all these police cars and SUVs parked there because they were inside the church in the basement. And at that one, they don't just kill children. They're equal opportunity Satanists. They take whole families, or they'll take a father. When I was there, a father and his daughter were being sacrificed to Lucifer. I asked Father about it. That's what they do, folks. They do it in the afternoons, and they do it at night. And they're all required to do it. That's why child trafficking is such huge business in this country. The Pentagon will bring in about 1,500 kids a week just to the Pentagon. On any given day, they can have up to 400 kids brought in. And they take them to the underground base in the Pentagon where they rape and kill them. These people are monsters. So the RNC will be busy. They're probably going to be going in, I would assume, this Friday and Saturday night to start their rituals to Lucifer. I'd like to see some protesters. Instead of down there with Black Lives Matter, how about Children Matter? I would die laughing if some people were down there with some signs, with the international sign for no, and it's a devil on the poster, a picture of the devil, no Satan worship, whatever. Just protest against all the Satan worship that's going to be taking place next week down there. Same thing for Philly. Let's let them know that we know what they're doing. We're keeping an eye on them. We're watching your banks. We're watching your churches. It's not just Catholic churches. In Elyria, they have Baptist churches Satanists rent out. Church of the Open Door Christian in Elyria, the Satan-infested church. They do rituals in the basement of that place. Who would have thought, you know? I was on the east side of Cleveland, And then Illyria's on the west, way west. And it seems to be one of their major hubs is Illyria in Cleveland.